They always said making movies was a cutthroat business, but I had no idea they were being so literal. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, and today we're covering Dave Parker's cult classic slasher flick, The Hills Run Red. Released in 2009 and now available on Blu-ray from our friends at Scream Factory, The Hills Run Red features a lost film, a murderous mutant, and several potential victims. In other words, it's nailed the slasher film formula to a T. But is this film splattery enough to earn the coveted 5 barf bag rating? Let's get to the gore and find out. The film opens with this kid doing some impromptu plastic surgery to his face.
It's broke. Mom was gone.
Look, I'm no doctor, but I'm guessing he's not board certified. A little nip, a little tuck. See, I don't look a day over 8 years old. And then we get this Texas Chainsaw-esque title card. So basically, it's like Antrim 1.0. With that out of the way, we meet Tyler, who's doing a little web surfing. You know he's serious because he's got 2 monitors. He's not over here fragging zombies and Left 4 Dead, though. He's watching this old trailer for a horror movie called The Hills Run Red. Meta.
His name is Babyface. His game is death.
I don't know, guys. Babyface isn't exactly the most intimidating name for a slasher villain. I mostly just think of the 90s R&B singer. Is he gonna murder me or serenade me with whip appeal?
If you hear his rattle, it's already too late.
Also, that tagline could use some work. I mean, at least work in a death rattle reference or something. Anyway, Tyler's work is interrupted when his girlfriend shows up looking to get lucky.
Are you gonna spend the rest of the night with that? Or with me?
Talk about your Sophie's Choice moments.
Just a little bit longer.
Phew, at least he made the right call. I mean, priorities, right? Killing before drilling and all that. She's like, well, guess it's a good thing I bought that new pack of batteries. The next day, he's dropping some exposition with poor man's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Why this movie, Tyler? It's just another 80s splatterfest.
Think of the mystery surrounding it. I mean, no movie just vanishes without a trace.
Scorsese's Film Foundation says there are at least 3,500 lost films, including 50% of the films made prior to 1950. Hope you're not paying for the film studies course. At any rate, Tyler here is basically what would happen if film Twitter was a person.
Film speaks a language and therefore has a grammar that is incomprehensible to the cinematic illiterate.
With today's lecture on Pretentious Film Discourse 101 finished, we jump to some old footage of the Hills Run Red director Wilson Wyler Concannon. Yeah, that's William Sadler making his 3rd appearance on Sick Flicks. He was in Demon Knight and VFW if you're keeping score at home. Anyway, it turns out Tyler here has a lead on Concannon's daughter, and he's hoping she's the key to solving the mystery of the Hills Run Red.
Astor tracked her down. She's only 20 minutes outside the city.
Wonder how that's gonna work out. Lalo isn't all in, so Tyler gives his pal the hard sell.
And deep down, I know you want to see this movie as bad as I do.
And you know what that means? Road trip. But first, we have to stop by the booby trap because there's a special on breasts. Luckily for Tyler, Sam Elliott is tending bar. Must have been Dalton's night off. Hey kid, are you old enough to be in here? If you guess this is where Concannon's daughter is working after her illustrious film career fizzled out, give yourself a screenwriter's credit. And while Tyler's busy at the strip club, Lalo and his girlfriend are all snuggled up on the couch. Uh-oh. Back at the club, Tyler's ready for his lap dance in this freaky red room. This is like if the school in Suspiria had been a strip club instead, I guess. She hits the music and he's like, look, I'm just here to ask you about the obscure splatter flick you were in as a kid. Sorry, you paid for the dance, you get the dance. Them's the rules. Also, are you old enough to be here? And while he's busy messing up his lap dance, his girlfriend and bestie are at home getting ready to shoot their first Pornhub video. Back at the club, Tyler still doesn't understand how a lap dance works.
I just want to talk.
Then get a therapist. Alexa agrees to meet him outside, and we're treated to the scariest door opening ever. Seriously, what's with that sound effect? They head back to her place, and she's like, so, what do you think? Oh yeah, it looks great. The heroin needle really ties the room together. Then he's like, Alexa, say mean things to me.
If I did have the movie, I'd burn it, scatter the ashes, nothing left.
Ouch, not that mean, Alexa. Meanwhile, someone's lurking around outside.
It's nice having fans, I guess.
Wonder who that could be. Back inside, Tyler's finally making progress.
I know what you're really looking for.
Finally! So do you have an uncut copy of the movie or what? Well, that seems like a weird place to keep it, but okay. No wonder this dude's girlfriend is cheating on him. He's not very good at taking hints. Or maybe he actually did take the hint. Oh wait, he just tied her up so she couldn't run off without taking him to find his gore movie. Then it turns into an episode of Intervention. Who knew a totally untrained film student could just cure a junkie with 3 days in a hotel room? And just in case you weren't convinced, we filmed these scenes in Detox Cam. After that, Dr. Tyler declares her cured.
It's time.
And now that she's all better, this is the perfect time to start vlogging.
I know you want me to tell you more about the movie, but it's a little fuzzy. I wasn't in much of it.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Glad we set all this up for you to give us 25 seconds of footage. And now, Serena's gonna give Tyler shit about spending time with Alexa.
Serena, it was my only chance. I had to grab her. She was strung out, fucked up, and far from home.
Did you fuck her far from home?
You slept with his BFF. Not sure you really have the moral high ground here.
Lalo and I talked about it.
Guess I missed that meeting.
Well, yeah, if we had it after we had sex in your bed. Probably would have been awkward if you were there. Back on the road, Lalo here is our wannabe Randy from Scream. He's gonna break down some horror film rules. You know, just in case you've never actually seen a horror film before.
Yeah? Then suddenly these ass-loving rednecks come out of nowhere and fuck them all to death.
Wait, that sounds like a porn parody of The Hills Have Eyes. They eventually arrive in the woods where we get some more exposition about William Wyler Concannon.
He said he died like 10 years ago.
Then where are we going?
To his final resting place? The house.
While they're doing that, Alexa's off answering the call of nature and finds this creepy old doll. Spooky. But hey, at least it's not woods porn, I guess. Then we get a flashback to the killer running wild. And since The Hills Run Red hasn't given us much in the way of gore so far, I'll take it. Back in the present, she spots the killer for real. Or maybe it's just an acid flashback. I mean, she's only been clean for 3 days. Yeah. Definitely an acid flashback. Next, they stop at this gas station, which looks like it's just up the road from the one in Cabin Fever. This isn't so much a pit stop to get gas or use the restroom, it's just to give us another flashback where Alexa remembers traveling with her dad to show the film.
Daddy used to take the film places and show it. It was on big reels.
Oh, and to get even more exposition.
Yeah, well, they shut that drive-in not long after that movie played there, because some guy got murdered.
Man, this movie loves exposition more than it loves splatter effects so far. Come on, Dave Parker, where's my gore? After some more endless driving, they finally arrive at their destination. Yeah, I think we found it. This definitely looks like the middle of nowhere. Tyler starts work on his next YouTube video. Wonder if they'll run into the guys from the last broadcast out here. They gear up for their hike, and Lalo's brought a little surprise. It's Chekhov's handgun.
Think of the number 3.
Shit.
2 in the chest, 1 in the head.
Wonder if that will be important later. Spoiler alert, not really. With everything set, they march off into the woods, but they're not alone. After heading deeper into the forest, they find these remains.
Is that a rib cage?
I wouldn't worry about it. If they are, these were her spare ribs. Turns out this is a filming location for The Hills Run Red. This lady's hanging around like she's Zora Karova in Cannibal Ferox. Also, finally, some gore. Babyface here starts cutting the rope, then she makes like an atom and splits. Eventually, they set up camp, and it's time for an origin story. Alexa, tell us about Babyface. Babyface was born Kenneth Edmonds in 1959. Not that Babyface, Alexa. So, the gist of all this jibber-jabber is that the killer was another abused kid turned mass murderer. Oh, and he has some really odd culinary tastes.
Mummified them, cured them.
Cured. Not like bacon.
After everyone crashes for the night, Tyler looks through his B-roll and finds this. This looks a lot like the Patterson-Gimlin Sasquatch tape. And if that weren't bad enough, this happens. And then he ponders his way right into this jump scare. Alexa's been out for a late-night stroll.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing much. I mean, my girlfriend is probably sleeping with my best friend, and I think there's a killer stalking us through the woods, but you know. So, tell me about your dad again. Then they kiss. But their impromptu makeout sesh is cut short when Tyler hears something in the woods. Again, this dude is terrible at hooking up. We switch to camera view and it feels like the end of the Blair Witch Project. Right down to Tyler getting whapped in the face. They wake up all hogtied, but it's not Babyface. It's Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel, and his pals from the gas station. These guys are ready to make their own home movie. Something they'll probably call Dick Dynasty or The South Will Rise Again. But before filming can commence, Cletus gets picked off. Then Babyface shows up and finishes off this guy. Look, let me pick your brain about this. After that, he goes all Danny Trejo and finishes off this dude with a machete. Then he heads for Alexa, but she soothes him with a few verses from When Can I See You? Do you kids even remember Babyface? Some of you are probably conceived with his music playing in the background. Some Quiet Storm slow jams calm old Babyface down long enough for Alexa to make a break for it. Tyler, ever the hero, then heads off in hot pursuit. Look, if this doof is the hero coming to your rescue, you're pretty much dead. Anyway, Lalo and Serena are dashing back to the SUV, until they run right into this jump scare. Lalo's gonna engage in Mortal Kombat with Babyface, but our killer goes all Indiana Jones on him and just blasts him instead.
Come on, fucker!
While he's busy dying, Tyler's Metal Gear Solid-ing his way around this farmhouse. And of course, he sucks at the game. Nice work, Tyler. He eventually winds up in this dark room with all this film. And surprise, it's him and Alexa in the private dance lounge. Weird. He finds Alexa naked and tied to a bed, but then Serena shows up with Babyface in hot pursuit. They're about to dip out, but Babyface says not so fast as he bursts through the door like a budget Jason Voorhees.
We have to get out of here. We have to go. Okay.
Are you guys ready for a plot twist? Because I feel the swerve coming. Babyface turns his attentions to Alexa again, then this happens.
Fetch.
Oh yeah, we just got M. Night Shyamalan. Serena and Babyface then proceed to play a rousing round of Dead by Daylight, but she stumbles right into his slaughterhouse. Looks kinda like Pinhead's rec room. With Babyface closing in, she's gotta hide. And if you guess she hid in the most obvious place, no screenwriter's credit for you. Instead, she's doing her best Elizabeth Bathory impression and taking a bloodbath. She creeps out, but too bad for her, Babyface is camping and puts her down. Then it's time for some flashbacks. The key takeaway here is that Alexa has basically set all this stuff up. Then Tyler wakes up tied to a chair in an editing bay. I'll be honest, they have to do this to me sometimes to get me to finish editing new Sick Flicks videos. I hate editing. If you guessed Concannon the director was still alive, well, I'll give you half a screenwriter's credit on that one. Concannon reveals that he's not content to just direct, he had to star too.
Give it to me. Ah, son of a bitch! Cut! Cut! What the hell is the matter with you? I didn't look real at all!
And that he went to the Kubrick School of Filmmaking.
You really killed him.
Trump! Craig!
Out in the barn, Alexa's hard at work on the sequel, and Serena and Lalo are her stars. Yeah, he's somehow still alive. She explains there's no need for method acting because this is a real-life snuff film, and then Babyface gets to work. I think my new song is going to be a duet. Back in the editing bay, Concannon explains who Babyface is.
Of course, I couldn't be in front of the camera and behind it at the same time, could I? So I had to get a new performer. Alexa's kid.
How does she have a kid old enough to be the killer?
Well, she was 13 when she had him.
Oh, okay. I don't think that math works, but sure. Let's roll with it. Over in the barn, Lalo's corset fitting is going great. And Babyface is hard at work on his next hit. You're a little pitchy, Serena. Let's dial it in. Back in the barn, Alexa's slicing into Lalo's muffin top, but then Concannon and Tyler show up. God, this is terrible. I'm gonna have to petition the guild to get my name off this thing now. With Concannon back in control, filming resumes, and it's time for Lalo's close-up. But he might need a shave first. Then the production grinds to a halt again thanks to creative differences between father and daughter. Look, you promised me Final Cut. While they're playing around a family feud, Serena's working on a plan.
Nobody cares about that subtextual shit! Get to the kill!
Yeah, I know she's crazy, but I think Alexa would enjoy this channel. Too bad for her, Kincannon clearly not a fan of critics. Babyface watches his mother die. Man, talk about a face only a mother could love. Unfortunately for Kincannon, now Babyface wants Final Cut. And he's gonna get it.
Come on, kill it!
He's about to finish off Tyler too, but Serena skewers him like an hors d'oeuvre. Happy ending time, right? Not so fast. Alexa isn't dead, and she knocks Tyler and Serena out with a shovel. Tyler wakes up in her private theater, and it's a sold-out showing. At least they won't talk during the movie. She's showing him the rough cut of her latest project, but he's like, man, just kill me now. I can't sit through another student film. The film is one giant gore montage, or what I've basically been waiting this entire movie to see. Tyler seems to dig it, though. Well, it doesn't have a lot of narrative, but it gets 5 barf bags from me. And then we get this little bit of montage, followed by credits. If you're wondering what happened to Serena, well, here she is. And surprise, she's pregnant.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word.
Well, that wasn't a very happy ending. The Hills Run Red is a strange little slasher film. It's got a lot of meta-nods to filmmaking that we saw in the wake of Scream, but it's like a decade late to the party. But it also has William Sadler, who makes everything better, and some decent kills even though we've never gotten a fully unrated version of the film. Can The Hills Run Red earn a 5 barf bag rating? Let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, The Hills Run Red mostly delivers. Yeah, you wait a long time to get to the carnage, but once it finally starts, it's pretty solid stuff. We're treated to multiple stabbings, a facial disfiguration, 2 pickaxe murders, a throat slashing, a murder montage at the end, and that brutal sequence of the woman getting ripped in half. The FX work is splattery, but it's hard to give this one more than 3 barf bags. It's a sick flick, but it's not anywhere near the sickest flicks I've covered on the channel. Looking for another film about making movies with more gore? Then check out my review of The Butcher. You'll find a link here on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.